Kia ora, good evening. A 6.2 magnitude quake hit near the top of the South Island this afternoon. The quake hit just after 2:30, centred about 10 kilometres southeast of Seddon at a depth of 8 kilometres. The quake was followed by a series of strong aftershocks. A Blenheim resident described it as terrifying, saying it was a strong rolling motion which caused objects in the house to fall over. The town's centre was also evacuated. In Wellington, a resident says his building shook violently and some buildings were evacuated after the quakes, while others were told not to leave. Wellington Civil Defence says there does not appear to be significant damage and there is no tsunami warning in place. An Invercargill man was attacked in his home by an intruder armed with a tomahawk-like weapon in the early hours of this morning. Police say a 21-year-old man, the sole occupant of an Ottery Street house, was awakened around 3 a.m. by an intruder and was attacked upon confronting him. He was able to escape the premises while the intruder was still present and was taken to Southland Hospital, suffering several serious injuries, and is undergoing surgery. Police found the following items a short distance from the scene and has asked anyone with knowledge of them or who saw any suspicious behaviour in the Ottery Street area or surrounds to contact them. The offender has not yet been identified. Nominations for local government elections closed today, with dozens of people putting their hands up around the province. Sarah Bedford took a look at who is standing at the three main councils.
Nominations closed today for local government elections. 25 people have put their names forward for Invercargill City Council, including 3 for Mayor. Those putting their hand up for the Invercargill mayoralty are Lindsay Dow, Kevin Middleton and incumbent Tim Shadbolt. 22 candidates are standing for 12 council seats. They are Lindsay Abbott, Rebecca Amundsen, Karen Arnold, Neil Boniface, Alan Dennis, Carl Edward, Stephen English, Lloyd Esler, Kylie Fowler, Thomas Harper, Colin Heath, James Jubb, Peter Kett, Graham Lewis, Darren Ludlow, William Obers, Shane Pleasance, Ian Pottinger, David Rohan, Mark Ross, Graham Sycamore and Lindsay Thomas. While current councillors Thelma Buck, Carolyn Dean and Norman Elder are not seeking re-election. At Southland District Council, 3 people have put their name forward for Mayor. They are John Douglas, Paul Duffy and Gary Tong. Incumbent Mayor Frana Cardno will not stand again. Councillors Jim Copeland, Diane Ridley and Wallace Jack are also not seeking re-election, while more than a dozen people have put their names forward for council seats, with 1 seat available to represent each ward. Those candidates are Gavin McPherson, Lyle Bailey, Neil Patterson, Bruce Ford, Brian Dillon, John Douglas, Tim Hanna, Alistair Dukes, Julie Keast, Paul Duffy, Lynn Gutzel, Ray McCrosty, Stuart Beard, Rodney Dobson, Helen McCurdy, George Harper. Around 25 people have put their names forward to represent Environment Southland, with 12 councillors elected from 6 constituencies. The candidates are Ross Coburn, Brian Mason, Lloyd McCullum, Grant Hubber, Nicole Horrell, Ali Timms, Peter Jones, Rolly Curry, Neville Cook, Robert Guyton, Lyndall Ludlow, Jan Riddell, Monica Toretto, William Watt, Marion Miller, Steve Mitchell, Pauline McIntosh, Ben Nettleton and Morris Rodway, Bill Claridge, Key Frost, Alan Topham. Elections are being held by postal ballot, with voting papers being posted to voters between September 20th and 25th. Results will be known on October 12th. Sarah Bedford, South Today News.
New Zealand has committed to reducing greenhouse gas emissions to 5% below 1990 levels by 2020. Climate Change Minister Tim Grosser says the target is more ambitious than New Zealand's Kyoto Protocol first commitment period target, but compares favourably with our traditional partners and demonstrates New Zealand is addressing global climate change. The 2020 target is under the United Nations Framework Convention rather than the Kyoto Protocol itself. Balancing costs to New Zealand households and businesses against ambitious action underpins the target, which is considered an interim action ahead of a binding agreement under the convention that takes effect from 2020. After the break, a team of young Southland athletes prepare to take their game to the national competition. Welcome back. Police are warning parents to ban their children from accessing social networking website Ask FM following a local cyberbullying complaint linked to the site. The site, which has over 65 million members, allows anonymous comments to be posted. Margot Sutherland spoke to Detective Sergeant Greg Beard about concerns around the site's content, which he believes does more damage than good.
It basically gives the users of the website the ability to ask anonymous questions of other people on the website. And we've become quite concerned when we've been made aware that it's been linked to a number of suicides overseas and also cyberbullying. And once we've started looking around, it's been quite obvious that this is a website that's being used a lot by young adults in New Zealand.
Anyone that could be using it is setting themselves up for attack.
Yeah, potentially so. And as we all know, young people can be particularly vulnerable at certain times, and some people perhaps go up to their bedroom and take their computers in their bedroom without adult supervision, and potentially that's the last thing they could be going to sleep with at night, and having that horrible comment thrown at them.
So there's been an incident in eastern Southland that's prompted concern around the region with this.
Yeah, well, we became aware last week when we were approached by a concerned parent, and once we started looking at it, we became aware that it's across a lot of schools, certainly not just eastern Southland, it's across everywhere and right throughout New Zealand and overseas. So we're just trying to be proactive and get the message out there, make parents aware and schools aware that the site is out there, that people are using it, and we just want to perhaps offer some advice as to how they can assist young children using it safely.
So what advice are you giving for parents?
Well, my first advice, as both as a police officer and an adult, is that parents need to be aware of the site, closely monitor it. I myself would say that using the site is not, the dangers far outweigh the benefits, and I would say we should be banning the site. There is the ability on the website to go into the settings side of it and to tick a box which removes the ability to place anonymous comments on their website. So that means that the people that are using it will know who the people are that are sending their messages.
Which brings it back to the similarity with Facebook.
Facebook and that, yes. But it's not only Ask FM. Since digging, we've become aware there's a number of other websites, and I can't name them, that do have this similar sort of ability. And just parents, schools, young adults, be aware the site's out there and be careful with it.
And Ask FM did not respond to our request for comment today. The price Fonterra pays dairy farmers for their raw milk has been reviewed by the Commerce Commission. The Commission has released its statutory review of Fonterra's milk price calculation for the 2012 to 13 year, the second of 2 reviews per year undertaken as a requirement of the Dairy Industry Restructuring Act. The Commission says statutory tests were largely met, but one assumption has been identified as not practically feasible, relating to energy usage rates, which had been calculated based on peak capacity usage and didn't reflect variable plant usage across the season. Final conclusions will be published next month. Invercargill's Waihopai School is set to represent the region in the 3rd annual Ripper Rugby National Championship. The team, made up of Year 5 and 6 pupils, was practising at school this morning ahead of next week's tournament. Made up of 5 girls and 5 boys, the team won the regional competition recently, giving them the right to fight it out in the national competition. The students have been practising once a week for the past 3 months and have more recently stepped up their training. While they know competition will be tough, the team's co-coach says they'll be competitive. And that's it from news. Coming up in sport, boxing from last weekend's Southland Boxing Champs. We'll leave you now with the week that was. Good night.
Hey, let me grab my guitar and get in the car.